Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my show Future Friday. In today's episode we're going to take a look at Maglev. So let's dive right into it. So what is this Maglev? Basically it's an abbreviation of magnetic levitation. That's all you have to understand about it. And it has no wheels or moving part while it's at speeds, and it will allow you very high speed, upwards of 600 kilometers per hour without any wheels. So this is the whole idea of Maglev. So okay, that idea is idea, but how the heck does this system work? Now this system is very simple. It's very simplified. It's magnet plus motion equals your output. So there are many methods. Two are the primary method. Primary method is electromagnetic suspension, which you would see something like this, which has electromagnets in the car. Basically the bogie that is moving, that has electromagnet. So the benefit, it can work at very slow speed, as in like at standstill this will work. This does not require motion because it's using electromagnet. It can do that. Consequence, it requires very high-end computation device to keep it itself level, because the distance is not self-correcting. It has to do it manually. So that's electromagnetic suspension. Very high speed is possible. Then we come to electrodynamic suspension. Basically you invert the system and your tracks become more important. And benefit of this, you can go very high speed. This can go upwards of 400 km per hour. This can go 600 km per hour. This is the fastest ever achieved by a Maglev, and this is built in Japan right now. Now this whole idea of this technology is very old. Be mindful of that. Maglev is not something new. This Maglev plus this Maglev, they all have been thought out, designed, patented, everything, and it was even open for public use in 1979. Basically from 1980s we had this technology, thoroughly well tested out, patent and all that. So why the heck it failed? Like if it's 1980, it has magnetic levitation, it allows super near sonic speeds. Basically you can reach upwards of Mach speeds. Why the heck it's not everywhere? One simple reason: it's very complex. Whenever people are talking about, okay, I want Maglev in my country, I don't think they thoroughly understand what level of complexity we are talking about. It's ludicrously complex. To give you the rough idea, I told you that one electromagnetic system does not require wheels. Everything else require wheels. Yes, you have a Maglev, but it will need wheels for slow speed. Basically if you are coming to a station, the wheels has to be dropped down. This is the bogie basically of a Maglev system that is used in Japan. As you can see, it has wheels on all sides, basically two wheels that are on the guideway and two on the sideways to make sure it's balanced. And it requires cryogenic. Basically it's running on liquid and nitrogen. Warm temperature superconductor is being used to make sure the magnetic field is strong enough. That's how it can achieve that kind of ludicrous speed of 600 km per hour. So understand that complexity. Not only you have to have superconductor, you also have to have wheels, and you also have to have mechanism to put that wheel down and retract that wheel. And if you ask anyone what kind of cost we are talking about, it's ludicrously expensive. Billions of dollars is nothing for a Maglev system, and there is no unified tech into this. Now this is the biggest limiting factor, because you might say, okay, aeroplanes also were very expensive, but because they were unified, basically whatever protocols have been followed with every single aircraft, it created a very successful industry. To have an industry, you have to have basically certain sort of rules that everybody follows. This has nothing. Now to give you an idea, right now you can go and ask people what kind of Maglev you want. There are electromagnetic, there is electrodynamic, and there was for a short while something known as Inductrack. Basically this was the cheapest option possible. However, as you can see, there are three options, but two of them need wheels, and these will have to be there for throughout the tracks. Basically you have to have rail. In case your magnetic system fails, you have to drop down two rails. Japanese train also have that. In case of emergency, let's say power ran out, you can drop the wheels and slowly safely coast away. So there is no unified technology. The complexity is too damn high, and not to mention there is no unified technology on it. Now the speed, when I say 600 km per hour, that sounds amazing. Here's the deal. This is TGV, and TGV at one high-speed trial record achieved upwards of 580 km per hour. That's your normal TGV. Maglev using superconductor only reached to 600. And here's the deal, Japanese people who are developing this system, they are flat out sure they will not make it run at 600 kmph. They will only make it run at 500 kmph. 600 is like, that was a trial, like they wanted to see how fast it can go. It can go there, but they will always run it at 600 because 500, because that 600, the basically drag that is induced by the atmosphere is too damn high. The power consumption goes ludicrously high. So this is why it failed. Even if it was created in 1980s, we haven't seen it anywhere. Now this is just the train part. This is the part that people sit in. What about the tracks? Now this is what actually kills the Maglev project before it even begins. This is a normal track. As you can see, the switching is super easy. You may not even notice it. There is a switch in the track. It's that simple, elegant, simple. The track switching on Maglevs, they are very complex. And when I told you like there is no standardization on Maglev technology, these both work on the same principle. And yet you can see how drastically different their basically path is. And if you talk about trains, all you have to worry about is what gauge it is. Is it narrow gauge, is it standard gauge, or is it broad gauge? That's it, done. Like, and I'm talking about whole over the planet. So there are trains that can literally go from China to freaking European Union. A train going through Russia. This is possible. Try doing with this. This technology is not standardized at all. And track switching, as you can see, it's like very complex, very, very, very complex. On top of that, let's say it's okay, how many switches you're gonna have, like only 10, 20 per, per 100 kilometers or something like that. Okay, that's fair enough. But the cost of track goes ludicrously high per kilometer also. That's the reason why nobody even bothers touching it. Let's say somebody says you, okay, $60 million per kilometer is for a high-speed train. Okay, cool, fine, everything is fine. $150 million for Maglev system. And like, whoa, what happened? Because the tracks are not simplified. It's not just you stabilize the ground, which you have to do for this also. You don't stabilize the ground, you put gravel, you put your sleepers, and then you put rail. Done. In this, you have to put a pylon, which is expensive. Then you have to put concrete trusses on top of them, which is expensive. Then you have to do switching yards, and overall, because right of way, this is more or less same cost as metro. It is very, very, very expensive per kilometer wise. That's why you will only see Maglev and short distances. Maglev, the farthest distance is 30 kilometers. Like somebody is like Japanese railway is trying to achieve higher than that. They are trying to basically Maglify their railway for 500 kilometers. Total cost is $300 billion. So yeah, let's just put it right out of the way. And it hasn't reached what we call economy of scale. Whenever you are talking about something, let's say be it rocket, be it satellite phone, be it your computer, it has to reach what we call economy of scale, basically where manufacturing it becomes cheap enough. This hasn't reached it yet. That's why the track, the moment anybody is like, okay, Maglev is this expensive, okay, cool, I want in one Maglev from, let's say, Mumbai to Delhi in India. The moment you're gonna see the track cost, you're like, yep, no, just no. That is so much, the track cost is so damn high that you can have multiple airports in the build multiple airport, run airports, airlines in it, and still pay for the fuel cost, and you still will have some money left. They are that expensive. So there are certain roadblocks in this technology. The technology is very good. I am not in any way or shape criticizing the technology. Technology is very good. However, it's super high in R&D cost. The Japanese people, they spent billions and billions and billions of dollars per year for 20 to 30 years. Now they are showing you, okay, now we are ready for Maglev system. And I already told you, there is no standardization in Maglev technology. If you try to do something else, let's say the Maglev system that is in China, that's completely different from Japanese system. Maglev system that is in Germany, that's completely different again. Because I told you, like every Maglev right now, as I talk to you, is basically one of a kind, every Maglev system. And Maglev and high speed is not the same thing. I have provided the video down below. That is a Maglev system that barely goes to 100 kmph. So be aware of that. Maglev and high speed is not the same thing. Now, on top of that, let's say you did the R&D. Let's say Japanese people take care of the R&D, Chinese people took care of the R&D. Now what? Again, it still has ludicrously high capital investment. And it has no hope for profit, flat out. Even this Maglev system that is there running right now, they know flat out it's not going to make make their money back. Now even Metro does that, but here's the deal: Metro has much higher carrying capacity, and this exact system is barely slow speed, very slow speed. This can barely go to 150 kmph, while a normal rail can easily go to 200. So The fact that there is no hope for profit means whichever government, be it Japanese government, be it Chinese government, whoever is taking the brunt of the impact, they will never see that money back. And if you are wondering how the heck country ends up in debt, these are the project that does that. Now of course not these are the only project that does that, but these also play a very crucial role. That's why people fear basically failed public project. They can put a whole country in debt. These are the roadblocks. So what can we expect in the future? Is Maglev dead? Well, no. Once the R&D is done, because now Japanese people are rolling it out, but it's not out yet. But once the rolling out is done, once the Chinese people have done it, once Malaysian people have done it, as time will progress along, the R&D cost will be taken care of. The standardization will begin. After that, you can see it implemented in large scale. And I'm not meaning one country or second country here and there. Now be aware, on top of that, Maglev only makes sense for small distance. At very long distance, track cost still would overwhelm any investor. So you will only see Maglev in very dense populated countries, basically like India and Japan. Why not China? One simple reason: China is physically very big in terms of the geographical landmass of China is very big. So there is a corridor in China where a lot of the people are there. So you can see people, Maglev there from point A to point B, but you will not see from Himalayas to its sea coast. That you're not gonna see that because it's way too long. It's like 3,000 kilometers or something like that. So when you have small country and with very high density, some of the European country, then you can do that like Japan. But be aware of that, it will be very, very, very expensive. Japan has like the best record of high-speed train. Here's the deal: the ticket cost was at the early days same price as the flight ticket, and when fuel prices went down, the ticket prices remained the same. So at some point there was a scenario where flight would have been cheaper. People still use the Shinkansen because it saved time. But be aware, are you that rich? So if you're like, okay, I want Maglev, there is a very good chance you may get your Maglev, but you may not be able to ride it simply because the cost would be very high. Be aware of that. This is why I will create another video regarding this topic. Now I have covered all the modes of transportation. It's like, how do we balance out which transportation need is perfect for us? Maglev right now, it's not ready for prime time unless you have billions of dollars just ready to go. Billions. And then after that, please don't complain that your government is in debt, because this alone consumes hundreds of billions of dollars. So in the future, once we have figured out all in the R&D, once we have standardized the technology, once we have there are only few places, practically speaking, where Maglev will make sense with the current cost. So once we have that, then you will have a very expensive system that some people can use. So I hope you are happy with this. So this was my presentation on Maglev system. I hope you liked it or learned from it. In that case, please leave a like. If you didn't, don't worry about it. You can press dislike twice. And please leave a comment. I reply to all of them. And subscribe. Press the bell icon if you're free. And as always, thanks for watching.